Roy?
What's up? How's it going?
Going all right. Episode 4, show 4.
Yes,
Random
sir.
Bureau.
Random. We are just talking about whatever just kind of pops up in our head and just kind of go with the flows. And the ingredient is the actual topic of the show. So what do we have as our ingredient today?
I was thinking about things that should get more attention, things that are underrated. And that's anything. People, things, anything you think is not getting the attention it deserves. That's what I think this show should be about. The ingredient today should be underrated things and people and whatever.
Okay, so anything, and it doesn't have to be a person, an athlete, a product or whatever. It could just, it's a very general topic, but underrated is
if you think that the 1983 Montreal Expos was a underrated team, you can talk about it.
Okay.
If you want to.
Okay. I thought they were the Montreal Elbs.
From the hat, it looked like it might be, but yeah.
Okay. This is a very interesting topic. Hopefully I can come up with some stuff. Why don't you start off first?
I will start off. All right. So
my list here.
All right. I'm going to start off with a band that I think everybody should know. Some people do, some people don't. They're called Big Star. This is do you know who Big Star is, Roy? I won't be mad.
I know the Circle Star, but not the Big Star.
Well, you don't know who Big Star is? I don't want to do the show anymore. I'm just no.
Okay.
No, Big Star. They're a group, and it's funny. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, I probably known them for about 10, 12 years. So it's a group that they haven't been around. I mean, they've been around since like the 70s, and they were really good. I thought their songs were actually by other artists. So I thought like songs that I heard like Cheap Trick, and I thought those were their songs. They were actually doing Big Star songs. So Big Star is a band that it's a rock band. They came out, they were just kind of unfortunate. I think their label didn't know what to do with them. There's a really good Netflix documentary about them, came out like in 2003 or something like that. But anyway, so the band, are you familiar with the Box Tops?
No.
The ticket for an airplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. You know that song?
Keep going.
I'm not singing anymore. But anyway, so that was a teenager. That was a teenager named Alex Chilton, and he was one of the members of Big Star. And so he had some notoriety and some fame. He was a great singer, great guitar player. And this group really, I just don't think people got it until it was all done. And they should have been bigger than they were.
Okay.
Their name Big Star they got from a food chain place called Big Star.
Uh-huh.
Their first album, they called it #1 record. So they had big aspirations. They thought they were going to be big. And they were great. Their albums were fantastic, and I don't think they got enough credit. Chris Bell, Alex Chilton, good stuff. I thought it was Cheap Trick and other bands, but it wasn't, and they just didn't get enough love. NPR actually did a thing about them, saying they called them the unluckiest band in America. Big Star. Check them out if you've never heard them. They're good, man. They've got a few songs, 13, Hanging Out. You know that 70s show. You know that 70s show, the theme song.
Yeah. Oh, is that them?
That's them. But Cheap Trick did it for the thing. That's a Big Star song. So anyway.
Okay. Interesting.
They really should be more well known. People don't know who they are. It's a tragedy. It's a sham, Roy. People don't know who they are.
What kind of sham is this? Well, I would probably know more if you sang more of their songs.
Roy, it's called the Get Mark to Sing show. It's just not happening.
Okay, I'm going to go with a band as well. Now, most people probably know of this group. We're talking about Davy Jones, Mike Nesmith, Peter Tork, and Mickey Dolenz, a group called the Monkees. Now, this group, I feel really bad for this group because, it was basically a group that like an American version of the Beatles. And there was, I think it was a TV production company or network that said, let's do something similar to A Hard Day's Night, where we follow a band and, there's fans that chase them all over the place and what have you. So they put the word out, and so these guys can sing. Some of them can actually play instruments, but the way it was structured was, they would do the singing, and then they'd have studio musicians, which wasn't an old. I mean, there have been groups and singers that have done that. They go into a studio, they sing it. Session musicians actually play the music, and then and they go on tour,
right.
And what have you. It just so happened that these particular singers actually had a TV show where they actually had to play the instrument, and then. Okay, yeah, it looks all lip synced and all that stuff. Oh, they didn't play their instruments, but some of them did. And I think they just got a bad rap, especially with all the different singers that went to studio musicians. Some of those songs by well-known bands didn't even use the members of the original band in the recordings. And then here they are. They go out on tour, and they get all the love and all that stuff. And I just think the Monkees get a bad rap.
I love the Monkees.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Las Chongas. Who doesn't love Las Chongas?
Right. I mean, it's just like, how many songs? I mean, I know of at least 5 songs from the Monkees, that always, and it's because of the show too.
Right.
The TV show. It was a part of my childhood as well, and they just don't get recognized. I don't think they're like in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, only because
people think of them as a novelty, and they shouldn't, because the songs are really good. They were fun and they were awesome, and I agree. I love the Monkees. I've always loved them as a band, and I agree with you 110%.
Right. So the Monkees is the first on my list.
Who was your favorite Monkee?
I like Ringo. All right, number 2, sir.
All right. I'm going to go with an actor.
Okay.
I'm going to go with an actor who really, he's gone too soon. I'm going with River Phoenix. People know his brother. People know Joaquin Phoenix, Academy Award. Great actor. I really liked River Phoenix. He died at 23. Way too young. He was in great movies. He's in Sneakers. Come on, Roy, you love Sneakers.
Yes, Sneakers, of course. Robert Redford.
Yes, he was in Stand By Me. He was in Explorers. He was in Mosquito Coast. He was young Indiana Jones in the
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
So yeah, no, he was fantastic. I really think that he was definitely, I think, the finest young actor of that generation. Stand By Me, he was so good. Believable. Just he's in a movie called Dogfight, which is really good. He plays this Marine that's kind of like, he had My Own Private Idaho. He was good, man. River Phoenix. I think gone too soon. Didn't get enough credit. People kind of forgotten about him. I think people need to look up his old film catalog and check it out.
That's true, because I only know of a few of those movies. Like I said, Indiana Jones, Stand By Me, and forget the other. See, and this is exactly what you're talking about. I don't even remember most of the movies that he was in. So
shame on you, Roy.
Hey, at least I admit it. At least
I'm just kidding.
At least
Are we gonna break up? Is our friendship gonna break up on online?
I'll tell you to sing a song. You won't do it. I'll admit that I don't know any movies, and So okay, River Phoenix, excellent. Okay, so my next one is actually going to be a movie. We were talking about westerns last week, and John Wayne. But we're talking about westerns, and everyone talks about the spaghetti westerns, the John Wayne westerns, High Noon and The Unforgiven, and all these movies with nice vistas and of the Old West. But I'm going back to not too long ago. I want to say this was probably about the 90s.
Okay.
Starring Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer, a western by the name of Tombstone. Just so many memorable lines in that movie, and there's been so many movies that have been done about Wyatt Earp and the gunfight at OK Corral, and that movie was just a little bit entertaining than the rest of them. Others were just like, oh, okay. There's the original ones. There's been Gunfight at the OK Corral. Right. There's My Darling Clementine, like old school movie about the gunfight at the OK Corral. But that one just alone. I I like the pace of it. I like the Val Kilmer. How can you not like his Doc Holliday? I'm your Huckleberry.
Epic. Epic.
Because of him, I learned how to speak a few words of Latin. So Tombstone, one of the westerns, underrated westerns, I think, because everyone thinks of all these other classic westerns and all that stuff. I'm going to put Tombstone on my list.
We can be friends again, because I completely agree with you. I mean, come on, just the lines alone. I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah.
You're a daisy if you do. I mean, there's some good lines in that, man.
Oh, yeah. Hell is coming with me. Hell is coming with me.
And then, come on, it's got Sam Elliott in it, man. That's the mustache.
Sam Elliott. I can't do Sam Elliott. Yeah.
Best him.
Yeah.
So we can be friends again. I agree. Damn it, I should have put it on my list, but I did not. So.
Too bad.
All right. So my next person on this is a basketball player. I talked a lot on a previous show about Pistol Pete Maravich, how I think he was underrated. In fact, I think he actually more underrated than this guy. But because Michael Jordan existed and played basketball, this guy got pushed to the back. I'm talking about Dominique Wilkins, because Dominique Wilkins was a force. He was the league leader in points before Michael Jordan took over as league leader in scoring. And then he was like second in scoring to him for multiple years. And I think he went 10 years where he averaged 25 points or more per game. I mean, he was a great player. But because Michael Jordan existed, this kind of got forgotten about. And I mean, if you like basketball, you've seen him. The dude, the human highlight reel, the human highlight film.
Yeah, last week we were talking about nicknames. That was a great nickname right there.
That was a great nickname. I almost went with that nickname. But so I'm kind of doing a crossover, as a Pistol Pete and then human highlight. Both Atlanta Hawks, by the way. So anyway, Dominique Wilkins was awesome. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think he was a fantastic player. Didn't win a championship in the NBA. Won a championship in Greece. He did.
Greece is the word.
Greece is the word.
All right.
Not much of a singer that Dominique, but anyway. But he's a little better than Carl Lewis. But anyway, so Dominique Wilkins, my guy.
I'm gonna make up for it right here.
Make up for it right here. Oh, you're gonna make up for it with number 4, Roy. You're gonna make up for it.
Dominic. No, he also. I like the that flat top.
High
top
man.
It was real tight. It was almost like a Jerry curl high top, flat top, almost kind of.
And he had that little thin mustache too. He had that.
Right. Yeah.
his windmill was. You know what he was? He was power and finesse.
Right.
One guy, I seen him go up and then 3 people jump and only one dude was coming. He was just dunking on 3 dudes. He was just.
Right.
Niq.
Good choice. Okay, so my number 3, I'm going to go a movie. I'm going to go an animated movie. This movie came out in the early 80s. A little brief history on this. The main animator on this, I think it was the director too, actually used to work for Walt Disney.
Okay.
And he was, I don't want to say he was tired, but he felt he could do some stuff on his own. So when the story came out for this particular animated movie, Disney passed on it, and then he took it and then took some other animators from Disney and kind of made it his own, which is why if you watch this movie, it actually looks like a Disney movie, but it is not. And it actually was based on a novel. And this movie is called The Secret of NIMH. And it's actually on YouTube. It was funny because I was just kind of scrolling through YouTube, and it's free, and it's on YouTube right now, The Secret of NIMH. And it's one of my favorite animated movies. It's kind of, if you watching it as an adult, I was like, wow, that's pretty deep stuff that they're talking about here about lab rats and how they're experimenting on lab rats and all that stuff. But as a kid, you're just enamored by, the animation of it all and all that stuff. And at one point, there's like violence between the mice, or one of them gets stabbed. I won't say who, but it's just like, wow, okay, this is pretty adult stuff here. But it was almost on the realm of kind of that dark animation a little bit too, because there were some, as a kid, you're just kind of like, ooh.
Yeah, it was a little heavy duty. There's a couple of movies I felt like that about, but that was one of them. Also, I was a big Nicodemus fan,
Oh yeah, Nicodemus, man, a very important character in that movie. But you know, it just seems that movie, that ended, because everyone talks about Toy Story and Little Mermaid, Lion King, all these other great, you know, the Disney Renaissance movies, Moana, Frozen, and all that stuff. Secret of Nim, like I said, because it's just a little bit more geared towards older children, so to speak, or even adults. Yes, it does have its moments where it's geared for children, but I think it just gets kind of pushed under the rug in terms of the animation of it all. So, Secret of Nim, underrated animated movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've thought about Secret of Nim in years.
Oh man, because you're scared. You're scared of you're scared of the owl.
Nicodemus, check him out. He was good.
Okay. Not Andre Nicotima. No, yeah.
No, different guy altogether.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with a hip hop artist. People know who he is, but I really, really think that more people need to give credit where credit is due when it comes to this guy. I was lucky enough to have seen this guy perform in Reno at Caesar's Palace, a place called Club Nero. Talking about my man Slick Rick the Ruler. I know people know him, and I know he's early hip hop, but this dude made songs with just beatbox and him, and it still sounds good today. His voice was butter. He was smooth. He had that delivery. He influenced a ton of other artists. I think Slick Rick just doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think he's one of the top 5 MCs of all time, just in my opinion. I know people are gonna get mad and talk about Drake and other guys, and I'm like, whatever, man. Everybody's got their own thing. But Slick Rick the Ruler, he's my man.
Where is Gerardo on your list of rappers?
He may not have made my list.
No. If you have to think about it, if he's not even top 500, then I'm not even going to talk to you, man. Come on.
We're not going to be friends anymore. Did we just break up twice on the same show? We're not going to be friends.
No, man. Gerardo, how can you leave him off your list? Him and Snow. Okay.
That guy, Canadian rappers, they don't, aside from Drake, he opened up the door, right? Isn't he?
I guess he did. If you want to call him a rapper, he was more of a singer. That's the only song.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah. Okay. No, good choice.
The Ruler, Slick Rick. And also, man, I was so jealous. I wanted all that gold. All that jewels, and I wanted a diamond encrusted eye patch and the freshest Kangol.
Yeah.
Slick Rick.
Good choice. Okay. Here's my number 4, going back to sports here. This guy played for the San Francisco 49ers. Great. Started off as a fullback and then moved over to running back. Was part of the 80s dynasty with Montana and Rice. And he was one of that, those weapons, all those weapons that they have on the 49ers offense. He was the first player to rush for 1,000 yards and receive for 1,000 yards in one season. The guy is not on the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, for some 49er fans, old school 49er fans will be known for fumbling in the 1990 NFC Championship game.
We're not friends anymore, Roy. Why'd you bring it up?
Just putting some salt in their wound there. But I'm, of course, talking about Roger Craig. High knee action, his running style. Yeah, he would, going into a pile, he would either run over the pile or he would just kind of bull his way. He's got a number of memorable runs, especially one against when they were the Los Angeles Rams in the late 80s, early 90s. One of the great runs that I've seen from him. But great receiver out of the backfield too.
Good hands.
The guy could block. The guy could just do it all. And I wish that he would get a little bit more recognition, at least in the Hall of Fame kind of voting or ballots. And there are other guys in there. It's like, really, that guy? I mean, Roger Craig, the guy did, to help out the team too. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like, he was a guy. Okay, he had numbers and all that stuff. His stats, he had good stats.
1,000, man. The 1,000 was just like, to me, I'm like.
Yeah, and he was the first guy to do it. Yeah, he was the first guy to do it. I mean, nowadays, there are guys that do that no problem.
There
A
was
handful.
only 2 people to do it, or 3 people to do it.
I think so. I think Marshall Falk, I know at
Russell
least. Is
Falk, the next guy.
Yeah, and the other two, I just.
What do you call it? Anyway, we're going off touch, but no, Roger Craig is the focus, and yeah, no, it's actually a tragedy that he's not in the Hall of Fame. I know his numbers are really good. He had some really good years, and then some sort of lean years, but he deserves it. I agree, Roy.
Well, I think he should have a little bit more recognition, as a running back. I mean, in the '80s, you had Eric Dickerson, late '80s, you had Barry Sanders and all that stuff. And they're great players, don't get me wrong, but Roger Craig, with the impact that he had on the game, especially for his team, I think he's underrated as an overall football player. So my guy, Roger Craig, underrated.
Definitely. I'm going with another band. They're called Television. Now, it's confusing because it has nothing to do with television. That's their name, Television. Are you familiar with the band Television, Roy?
I don't watch much television, unfortunately.
Okay, well, see, now you're confused again. You're talking about a band. So anyway, this band used to play at CBGB's, Max's Kansas City. They were back when the Ramones used to play there, back when Blondie used to play there. And people know those names. People know Blondie. They don't know Television. Now, Television was kind of a punk alternative band. Their first 2 albums, freaking phenomenal. Marquee Moon and Adventure. Great, man. It's a different sound. It's still good today. I listen to them every once in a while when I pop them on. Television's they're great. They had they looked strange. They sounded strange and cool. Very musical, very different. But then, like I was saying, there's other bands at the time. You know them. You know the Ramones. You know Blondie. You know Devo. You know these bands, and they deserve credit. All of them deserve. But I just think that with Television, they just never got the love or the respect and the acclaim that I think that music deserves. So, homework for you, Roy, is go check out at least Marquee Moon, the first album. Just check it out, see what you think, and just then if you don't like it, we can't be friends. So,
what's the name of the band again?
They're called Television.
What's your favorite song from them, or the song that you suggest?
Oof, that's a good one, man. Marquee Moon's good. I like. Dude, it's just the album. The entire albums are good, man. Because when they used to make albums before, and this, they thought about where the song should sit on the album, how the A side and B side were if you flip the record. So if you listen to these albums all the way through, they're pretty good. So I mean, just either one of the albums, Adventure or Marquee Moon, really good. Yeah.
Can you sing a song?
No.
I mean, I ain't listening.
This is called the Wake Up Show.
Yeah, at least sing a hook. Can you sing something?
I wish I could, man. It's just he has sort of a nasally delivery. It's not. Boy, have you ever sung a song on the show?
I'm done downing the song by the group. I'm done downing Mark for not giving me an example. What I think
in every show so far I've sang something. I don't. You know what? Because like if I sing this and you're like, God, that sounds awful. I don't want to listen to that at all. I'm gonna ruin this legacy that television doesn't have, and it's gonna be.
Right.
So I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. All right. I'd say it would be a little bit more helpful because, I've never heard of these groups. So, okay, we're going to move on now since nobody wants to sing here. I'm going to go with my last pick. This is going to be a TV show. And I actually have a bunch of TV shows here, so it's pretty much a coin flip here. But I'm going to say this is a show back in the late 70s, mid-late 70s, and maybe into the early 80s. It was an ensemble cast. Known for starring Lonnie Anderson. And this also had comedians Tim Reed, Howard Hessman, Frank Bonner, Gordon Jump, who played the big guy. I'm talking about the sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati. It had a great theme song. And also, see, the reason why I picked this is because I actually worked at a radio station, and it's so weird because not weird, but it's like the different personalities of the different characters, they actually really existed in a radio station.
You work with Venus Flytrap?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. And I knew a guy that used to wear the crazy patterns of Herb Tarlick, the salesperson. I mean, just the different personalities of a salesperson. The program director, the straight program director. You got the crazy. I don't want to say high DJ, but just that kind of that weird guy. And then you had that Venus Flytrap type of personality. I mean, and all those people in one way or another existed in a radio station.
Watch that one though, right? I gotta revisit that one. I was very young when that came out, and I remember watching it and thought it was funny, but I was very young, so.
Oh yeah, well, same here. And then I catch a little bit of it in reruns on YouTube as well. And just the way, I mean, it was a rock station back then, and then unfortunately now, because of the music copyright, they actually played actual snippets of songs.
Oh no way! So they don't play the actual. Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, depending on where it's distributed, because of the music rights and all that stuff, they'll mask over a song. So, and that was the Who. It's like, that wasn't the Who. What the hell are they talking about?
It's like,
there was an actual.
You don't know their bands.
Yeah, the producer and director actually said that they sometimes because a lot of promotions or managers would send radio stations just like promo stuff, like posters, cardboard cutouts, albums, and all that stuff.
Nice.
And they actually sent it to that show too, like actual real promos and all that stuff, posters and records, because it was almost like a TV version of, actually it was a TV version of a radio station, so a lot of the new stuff that came out back in the days, you'd probably see on the walls of WKRP inside of their studio. And it was a funny show.
I remember laughing, yeah. I think it was very funny, yeah.
Yeah. And so WKRP in Cincinnati, underrated TV show is what I'm going to go
with. Nice.
Okay. All right. So we've done 5, right? Honorable mentions. You want to go first? You want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a TV show that only lasted 1 season, really should have been on longer, launched the careers of many funny people that are still doing stuff in movies and TV. I'm talking about Freaks and Geeks. It was Judd Apatow. Have you seen it?
I have not watched an episode.
It's pretty good. It's only 18 episodes.
How does the theme song go?
Freaks and Geeks. No, wait. Speaking of theme songs, okay, our theme song is underrated, and I want people to know. I want people to guess where that's from, because I think I don't want to give it away. I want somebody to comment where our theme song is from, because it's kind of random.
What you should do is you should give some kind of like a $5 gift certificate to Bay City Medical for the people who.
I will.
Someone who guesses it right, and Bay City Medical, not to toot our own horns here, but that's where Mark is in right now, in the upstairs office in the Burlingame location. But in case you do need any medical supplies, wheelchairs, knee scooters, crutches, or anything like that,
$5 gift certificate towards
compression stockings, that is the place to go. And they are open. They are an essential business. They even have lift chairs. Every time I go there, I sit on their lift chairs and just go up and down. And then they're so comfortable. I sleep in them. Sometimes customers come in and so sorry for doing that, by the way. But anyway, yeah. So the theme song at the beginning of our show is actually it's one of those commonly used music beds for whatever commercials that were back in the day. But if you can tell us what commercial that music was from. It's from an actual Bay Area music, Bay Area business. I won't say what. I won't say if they're in business or not, but it used to be an old Bay Area business, and that music bed was used in their commercials.
Underrated.
That's another underrated one. Yeah, exactly. So you can send that to us, and we'll maybe give you a We'll give you some candies from Bay City Medical.
We'll give you something. Some swag.
Butterscotch, mints, and the sort. Anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, Freaks and Geeks. Okay.
One of the theme song. I wouldn't sing it. But it's not known for its theme song. It's known for launching the careers of James Franco, Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, Linda Cardinale, Busy Phillips, all of them. It's a really funny show. It's about brother and sister go to high school in like 80, 81. And it's just their friends and how they fit in and just high school life. So it's hilarious. Should have went longer than one season. Shame it didn't. But
okay. You want to go another one or?
I'll go another one. Filipino food. Filipino food is delicious. Filipino food is really good. You've got Korean food, you've got Thai food, you've got Vietnamese food, you've got Japanese food. Everybody wants Asian food. It's like the bottom of the list for people. And I really think you need to try Filipino food. If you haven't, you need to try it. It's not just lumpia.
It's not just pancit.
It's not just pancit.
It's not just chocolate meat. Okay, it's more stuff.
There's some deliciousness to be had, and you need to just experience it. So yeah, Filipino food.
However, I will say there are a few Filipino ingredients that, not that I hate.
No, yeah.
I don't know what the hype is about. That's a topic for another show. Okay,
All right, there you go. I like it. You're segue. Okay. You're teasing. You're gonna get.
Yeah.
What they call that in business, Roy.
Okay, so my honorable mentions are a couple of TV shows. The first one is Barney Miller, starring Hal Linden and Abe Vigoda was in that. Yeah, Abe Vigoda, and it was one of those shows, kind of like WKRP says, it was in the 70s. So when I was young, I really didn't understand it until I caught some episodes on YouTube during quarantine. But it is one of those ensemble shows. Now, do you remember Night Court?
Yes.
Okay, that's another. This is kind of a 2-for-1 here. Barney Miller / Night Court, because some of the writers from Barney Miller actually went over to Night Court.
I was a big Night Court fan. Like, Barney Miller is great and everything, and I know people love it. Night Court's awesome.
Okay, so here's the deal. So here's the kind of connection here. Because of the writers went on to become producers of Night Court. Think of it this way. Barney Miller took place in a police precinct, right? And it was, if you remember Night Court, it was all just, different cases, all these quirky people that came in.
Right.
So Barney Miller, think of this. Barney Miller, before they get taken to court, they have to be arrested, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they're arrested, they have to show up to court. Then you think of this. Barney Miller takes place inside where they get arrested, where they get booked, and they have to get that. All these quirky, and it's all these quirky, this is just theory, all these quirky personalities that get arrested, that get brought into the precinct to get booked and all that stuff. And then when they have to go to court, they go to court. It's a night court. And once again, quirky personalities, it's like, different, it's ensemble cast and all that stuff. And because it was the writers and some of the people involved with Barney Miller went on to do Night Court, it's almost like the police, the stuff that happens at the police station was on Barney Miller, and the stuff that happened in court took place on Night Court.
Can I also say 2 very underrated theme songs as well?
Oh, Barney Miller. Man, you talk about a bass line that starts off a TV show. Barney Miller, that's the one right there, man. Funky and jazzy, and same with Night Court, too.
Night Court had that horn, though, dude.
Oh, yeah. I'm digging the bass line from Barney Miller.
They're both underrated.
Yeah. Let's say Barney Miller / Night Court, because everyone talks about, all the other sitcoms. That has something that has to be brought back up.
I like it.
So those two are kind of like in the same category. The second show is a show that was on NBC. I actually caught it when it was on the cable networks. A great show because it was one of those, if you watched a whole episode and then you catch the end of that episode to lead you into the next episode, talking about a guy by the name of Scott Bakula and a show called Quantum Leap. That was, man, you talk about a show when I saw it on, I think it was USA Network. I didn't catch the originals on NBC, but that was a show that I would religiously watch one episode. And if you forget, if you don't watch one, if you miss one, you skip one, it's like, wait a minute, how did he go from here and leap into a different?
And if you don't know the show, he leaps into the bodies of other people. So he can be like a little kid. He could be like an old person. He could be, and he's a different episode every time, completely different person, and it was great. It was very enjoyable and fantastic. I liked it.
Right. And changes history for the good. And that was, it's like, there was something that went wrong that he had to figure out how to fix a certain situation so that history would right itself and, would go on. And there was one particular episode where he was Lee Harvey Oswald.
No. I loved Quantum Leap. Yeah, I thought it was really, really interesting idea for a show.
Yeah. Okay, so real quick, I'm just going to go over mine real quick. Underrated, okay? Underrated, just whatever underrated singers, movie stars, shows. First one of mine was the Monkees, the music group. Second was Tombstone, the movie, the Western movie. Third, an animated movie by the name of Secret of Nim. My fourth one was an athlete, Roger Craig, running back for the San Francisco 49ers. And number 5, WKRP in Cincinnati, a TV show. Yeah. And honorable mentions, Barney Miller / Night Court. And then the second honorable mention, Quantum Leap.
Nice. All right. My list goes as follows. Big Star. Check them out. They're great. Didn't get enough credit. River Phoenix, the actor, gone too soon, age 23. Shouldn't have happened. Phenomenal actor. Dominique Wilkins, even though people know him, he just does not get the credit he deserves. Slick Rick, the rapper, the ruler, he comes in number 4. Television, the band, not the box, not the flat screen, the band. And the honorable mention is
we're talking about box.
Back in the 80s and 70s, there were big boxes. People don't know this. They were big boxes.
You might as well call it the boob tube.
The honorable mentions were Freaks and Geeks, the comedy series, the show, and then the Filipino food.
In general, of all Filipino food.
All Filipino food, give it a try. It needs to be higher on the Asian food list that people like.
Excellent. Okay.
Take out Filipino food should be a thing.
If you have any underrated things that you want to add to this list, make sure you include them in the comments section below. And, of course, any random ingredients / topics you want us to discuss. Exactly. Please let us know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. We appreciate your, please spread the word. And once again, if you know our theme song, what commercial it came from, please let us know in the comment section below. And Mark will hook you up with some treats from
Bay Swag.
Some Bay City swag, including some butterscotch and mints. Okay.
All right. Thanks for watching.
All right.